and just that night, what it meant, how he was able to grab the moment and just own that whole moment, own that city, own the whole sport of MMA. It was, I don't know if something like that will ever be done again. But if there's anybody that can do it, Conor can do it. Because there's not a lot of people who have that level of self-belief. Yeah, and that level of emotional intelligence and fight intelligence to be able to do what Conor had done. If Conor can grab onto some of that on July 11th against Max Holloway, we might see something great. I just don't know we will.
Mr. Dean Thomas, we live. Thank you so much. Such an honor, man. How's it going?
It's going good. Everything's good, man. I couldn't be happier. I'm blessed in life, man, and just so happy to be here, so happy to be a part of the game, and I'm happy to be joining you and talking to you today. So that's also a blessing.
Let's send a shout out to our friend Jose Gracie that she connected us like 3 years ago or something like that. We were supposed to do something together. Jose, thank you so much for connecting me with Dean at that time.
Yeah, she's such a great human being. I just love her to death. She's such a caring person, almost to a fault. I'm like, oh my God, like she's just a great human being that it makes me feel bad about myself.
Look, I was just telling you offline how much I love this, and I know it's nothing new, but it's kind of newer, right? Like this dynamic of you, like octagon-side, and the live commentating goes to you and say, "Hey, Mr. Dean Thomas, what are you thinking?" And you give some powerful insights. How was the preparation for that? Because it's so hard to commentate in a way that people understand what you're trying to say, especially in fighting, right?
Well, it took me a little bit to get used to, because you have to come in with something like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and it has to make sense. And it has to be something that maybe they didn't talk about yet. And, and when they're talking, they're bouncing ideas off of each other. So it's a little easier to be in conversation. When they chime in for me, like I'm coming in cold. So I have to come in cold with something as succinct but also understandable to the common fan. So it's not that easy sometimes. It's like, what do I say? What do I say that's going to make sense to the common fans, but also not insult to the intelligent, minds. So I just try to be truthful. And one thing I did try to start, I do now, is I try to be a little more positive to some of the fighters, because it's very easy to be negative towards them. It's very easy to be like, oh man, this guy's terrible. So I try to find things that are a little bit more positive to uplift the fighters.
Yeah, we were kind of making fun of that this past weekend, because we have the World Cup going on. Brazilians are crazy about soccer, right? So we have this thing about like trying to be positive, especially about fighters, because we know how personal they take any little criticism, right? So this week Brazil was playing, and a bunch of fighters were there like shitting on the soccer players.
What?
Yes. They're like, oh, this guy is awful. Get him out of there. And then there was this tweet saying, like, can you imagine you talk like that about a fighter? And people are like, shit,
my
don't
God.
go there.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's so true. And that's the thing too, is that, the fighters are the most sensitive creatures on the planet. Like, you say one thing wrong about them. Like, I can say a million good things, and then the one wrong thing I say about them, they don't forget that, man. So I'm very aware of what I'm saying nowadays in terms of how I'm dealing with fighters. But I have to be honest. So that's one thing. That's one thing I'm going to be honest. If I have to say something negative, I'll have to. But I'll own it, though. I'll own it.
If they made a mistake or something, you got to be able to pinpoint that, right? It's like,
yeah. And I own it. And if they come up to me and approach me, which they do sometimes, I gotta, which they do. I have to own it and tell them like it is, man. Listen, like, you made a mistake, and I had to be honest and tell the truth.
I think that has to do with the fact that it's like they have a team, but they don't at the same time, right? Like they get inside there, and it's like you either beating up another man or you getting beat up by a man. And I think
Mhm.
that's what really sinks in at the end of the day, right? Like getting beat up by another man. Well, you were a fighter. It hurts like no other, right? Like because you
No.
feel so like it's hard to explain. Like every man watching this, you will understand what I'm trying to say here. It's easier to understand than to put in words, right? Like you go in there in front of hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, and you get beat up by another man. You're like, fuck.
Well, it's our primal instinct to be
Yes.
dominant, to be the alpha male. Like, and that's our primal instinct as an animal. You know, it's all
Yep.
within the animal community. Like every male wants to be the alpha, and when you put yourself in this situation, and this is something that you really strive to be good at, not only just our animalistic instincts, but this is something that they really want to be good at. And then when you lose or when you make a mistake and somebody points that out, it's such a hurtful feeling. It's like,
It
oh,
hurts, right?
like this
Yeah.
was the one thing that I'm good at. And now you're telling me I'm not good at it, or now you're telling me that I'm terrible, or I get beat up in front of millions of people. Oh, it's very painful. And I'm
Yeah.
sensitive to that. I am sensitive to that.
Exactly. Look, there's so much talent in the UFC. But do you think like comparing? I'm gonna compare talent, not martial arts evolution type of thing.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
like the fighters today versus the fighters from 10 years ago. We don't need to go that much back. Do you think people today rely more on like a strategy, like to get that win instead getting in there and try to beat up and we're seeing some like some power things going on like Alex Pereira, right? He was like, why is Alex such a big deal, such a great fighter, like a fan favorite? Is it because he's pretty or because he says shama? I was like, fuck no, it's because he's knocking out everyone, right? Like
Yeah.
John Silva, so coming in, knocking out everyone. Diego Lopez, Ilya Topuria, Justin Gaethje is a fucking, and then you see a bunch of other type of fighters coming in with a strategy, just thinking about getting out of there with a win, but
Hmm.
not. You get what I'm trying to say, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where do you think that key turn? Like, do you think it's the natural evolution of the sport? And like we have the fighting nerds, for example, right? Like Caio Borralho, he's like, look, I'm coming out of there with a win. If I gotta grab you for 15 minutes, I'll do it. It's gonna be the strategy.
Well, it's a mistake too, to be honest with you. It's a mistake in their long-term career in terms of, and I say that loosely though, because everybody's a little different. So that's the one thing we
Mhm.
do have to understand is everybody's a little different. Everybody's reason for fighting is different. Their personalities are different. But I'll say this, if you can fight in a way that is more violent and you can knock people out like you suggested with Ilya and Alex and Gaethje, if you can knock people out and hurt people, that is always the better option. It's the better option. If you have a fighting style that can really gravitate towards people and are captivated, your style is captivated by people. People are going to resonate with that more than somebody who's trying to play this safe, strategic, and not get hurt type of fighting style. And the reason why I say that's a mistake because if you fight like that, you're very expendable to the company. Because if you
Mhm.
fight like that and it doesn't work and you start to lose, they're going to get rid of you and they're going to replace you with somebody who's more violent. So
Exactly.
that's why it's a mistake. But some people just have a personality like that. They like to play it safe and they're a little bit more strategic and they're a little bit more critically thinking. But I'll tell you, like I said, if you start to lose and it doesn't work, you will be replaced much faster than the fighter that's fighting to be more violent.
I agree. I think the biggest misconception is it's like a sports league type of thing. It's not. It's an entertainment promotion, right? So
Yeah, oh,
yeah,
100%.
we have
100%.
rankings and everything. Like you see the meta rankings now. Let's. I'm gonna wrap this and I'm gonna jump into this meta ranking. But that's the biggest misconceptions because people think it's like, oh no, if I stack 15 wins, they have no choice. Oh, but they do. They're not gonna fucking
They do.
put you
Yes.
there
Bilal
to
Muhammad
tie
found
up
that out the hard way.
no shit, right? Exactly. So it's very it's very like they think it's like a NBA type of thing. It's like, no, you get the most points and you go to the playoffs. I was like, fuck no, they gonna match up whoever they think it's gonna deliver a better product, and that's about it, right? It's like
Yeah.
you see, like I used for example like Diego Lopez and he flopped twice against Volk, but you can understand it's Volk's merits. It's not a demerit of he's fighting a fucking genius of the sport, but you see like the natural push for those guys to go get in there, and I'm not talking about trash talk or offending families and shit like that. I'm just saying like performance, right? And I was saying about that about Josh Hockett. I was like, this guy's so annoying, but he delivers so much inside the octagon. They don't have a choice. They got to put the guy to fight because
Yeah.
he's delivering, and people want to see him fight. They don't want to see him talk, but they want to see him fight.
I used to tell my fighters this. I used to say, you don't get paid to fight. You get paid for people to watch you. Fighting is
Yes,
just what you're doing while they're watching you. You can fight all you want, but if no one's watching you, you're not going to get paid. You're not going to get
exactly.
paid. You're not going to get the opportunities. You have to have people watch you. So whatever that means, whatever you have to do, think of any other field of entertainment, any, singers, dancers, rappers, whatever it is, they put on a show. Like that's at the end of the day, it's being able to put on a show that people want to watch. And as a fighter, you have to be able to put on a show that people want to watch.
Hmm. I have a friend that says you might know him, Victor Doria. He
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
says
yeah.
he says, look, there's a reason, which is not the reason, but it's a great way to play with the words. It's like that's the reason why they call it show money and win money. So
Yeah,
that's your
yeah,
show
yeah,
money. Go
yeah,
there
yeah,
and
yeah.
deliver a show. It's your
Yeah,
show money.
put on a show. You got to put on a
That's
show.
it.
At the end of the day, you got
That's
to put
it.
on a show.
Exactly. Well, how do you feel about this meta rank?
Um, what the one thing I didn't think I don't think it's perfect, but the one thing I do like about it is that it rewards you for activity. Or punish it, at least
100%.
punishes you for inactivity. So the
Yes.
fact that some of these fighters, like I love guys like Yair Rodriguez,
I
but
was
like if
thinking
they,
about him. Yeah.
yeah, but these guys weren't fighting for a while, and it's just they're holding on to their rankings. It allows them to say, no, I don't want to fight this guy because of this, or I don't want to fight that guy because of that, and it really holds up the division. And I think that MMA is a better place when there's movement, when people are moving
Exactly.
around, and it forces champions to fight other guys, and it gives other fighters more opportunities to become champion. And I just think it's a better place. So when we think about like the great champions, George St. Pierre, and even Matt Hughes, like these guys had title runs of 7, 8, 9, 10. Anderson Silva, because they were fighting, they were active. They were active. Nowadays, champions fight once a year, and there's
Yes.
not even a lot of, and they fight once a year because sometimes there's no real contenders, and the reason why is because guys aren't forced to fight. So I think that the ranking system is going to at least give motivation to fight more, and champions will have to fight more, contenders will have to fight more, and the game's going to be better with better movement.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I like the new rank systems because I'll tell you, that's a big part of it, especially when the ranks came out. You see Yair Rodriguez out of the ranks, and I was like, holy shit. And I like too the way like those guys like way up there fighting a guy that's not ranked just to put a fight there. That does not give them a lot of boost, and that's how it should be. right?
Right.
But I think this ranking is gonna be way better like 6 months from now, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
feed out of his own activity. Because right now it's feeding off the old ranking, so it's kind of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. For sure. For sure.
yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. Like when the UFC does, they make power moves, and the UFC is in a unique position that they control the sport in the way that they have the resources to do things like this,
Hmm.
and they're the first to do it. It doesn't mean that that they're the only ones that can do it. It just means they do it because they have the resources. And but a lot of people, but when they make moves like this, people go, "Oh man, these ranking systems suck." Blah 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 blah. But it's like, wait a minute, give them an opportunity to allow it to
Exactly.
build and feed itself and become what they intend it to be. And I think that's the thing, is that we just have to sometimes check ourselves and just understand that things take time. Everything
Yes.
takes time to settle in. And they just started this ranking system, and it may not be perfect, but they're still working on it. And that goes for everything in the whole game, whether it's,
Exactly.
officiating, judging, all that stuff. Like we just got to give it a little bit more time.
Yeah, I agree. I think having a system that you know what's going to happen. Say, look, if I fight this guy, that's how the ranking system works. It's not like what 3 or 4 media guys are going to think, and maybe if they like, I'll move up or not. So it's like I think having some logic behind, like this guy said, if I don't fight for 6 months, I'm gonna drop in the ranks. That's awesome. That's how it
Yeah,
should be,
it
right?
should be
That's
that
how
way,
it
right?
should be.
Like you
Exactly. You're
should.
not
Yeah.
fighting. Why are you gonna be in the stupid rankings if you're not fighting? You know,
Well,
it's
exactly. And if you're
there's
hurt,
so
that's just the way it is. I'm sorry.
exactly. Get better. Come back. You
Yeah.
know, you still have a big name. They're not gonna throw you like a guy that's debuting in UFC. You're probably gonna get a big name and have your chance to be back there. And like Fizzy this past weekend, right? He
Yeah.
was bitching about it because I think he dropped dramatically. He was even out of the rankings too, because he was coming
Mhm.
from some losses and stuff like that. Then he wins. He's not like number 7, but he's number 13. Good. Next fight,
Good.
you climb up
Good.
more. It's
Good. Yeah.
that
Take another fight. Get another fight
it,
soon. Climb
there
up
you
again.
go. That's
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. Look, Alex Pereira and with Don Aspinall saying he's getting ready to fight. Uh, if I'm gonna put it this way, so I don't back you up into a corner. If you were Dana White, if you were the matchmaking, what would you do? You rematch, and take in consideration timing. Okay, you rematch Pereira and Gunn, or you sit Pereira and do Aspinall and Gunn, because you have 2 good rematches on the table to make.
If I'm Dana White in the UFC, I'm doing the Gon Aspinall fight, and then I'm doing Pereira Hokit on the same card.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Oh,
And that will be kind of like the tournament.
yes.
Yeah.
Winner fights
Obviously,
winner.
Gon and Aspinall fighting for the undisputed heavyweight title, and then Hokit and Pereira fighting for the number 1 spot to fight the winner of that.
Yeah, that's a good. I never thought about that. I would do. I was so angry, and I was the subject of a few months of free jokes in Brazil, because I was voting for that Pereira Jones fight so much. I was like, guys, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's the biggest fight in the sport. They're not gonna let that pass again, because they had a couple opportunities to make that fight why was relevant, like Pereira champion, Jones back as a champion, and say they let that slide. The opportunity came back again. They let that slide again. I was like, oh, now it's happening. They're not gonna let that slide again, and it's gone. We might never see that fight again. And then I was like, hey, Aspinall trying to come back. Also, I think timing, I would rematch Pereira because of timing. Just because it's still hot and fresh, and people are like, maybe the punches in the back of the head. If that didn't happen, what was gonna happen? You know, there's a hook, right? for a rematch, and then on the other side, there's a hook for Aspinall as well, right? Like if he didn't get the eye poke, what was going to be the result? So it's great times. It's a
Yeah.
great problem to have, right? When we have that many options, and like the welterweight division with Prates, Morales, Island is going to defend his belt against Ian Gary. Now we have so many great problems to solve, and it's a great, exciting times ahead of us.
Yeah, and I think the UFC does that intentionally. They
Yeah,
always leverage themselves in a position to where they're going to be in a win-win situation regardless. So it's always going to be a cool fight regardless. And if it's not, they'll distract you with another cool fight until they can make it their favor to have a cool fight. So, but you're right. Like between the welterweight division and the problems that they have with Morales and Prates and Ian Gary and all these guys in that race, and then the heavyweight division. I mean, it's just looking really, really promising in terms of what's the matchup, what's the best matchup to make.
yeah,
Um, really good problems ahead of us, and the UFC's in a really good spot because no matter which way they go, these are fights that we all want to see.
exactly. Like talking about a great problem, we have next week the return of Conor McGregor. How
Again, yeah,
excited are you for that, right?
yeah,
So what if Conor wins? Is he going straight to the title? I'm like, fuck yeah, let the man do whatever the fuck he wants. He's selling for, like, he's gonna sell like maybe more than the White House card. Like he's gonna bring more attention to this. He's the out of the bubble guy for us, right?
yeah. Well, see, and that's what I'm talking about. So, for instance, like we have Conor McGregor fighting next week, and what that'll do is like it gives us more time to create some good problems in other divisions, like the featherweight division, or even the female flyweight division, or the
Yeah,
male flyweight division. It gives us time to like create some problems there because Conor McGregor will distract us for a while. Now, with
exactly.
Conor McGregor fighting Max Holloway, what a fight that is! I mean, he's coming back after 5 years. He didn't look great when he left, but apparently he's on this newfound inspiration, led by God or whatever his spirituality is bringing him into this place that now we feel as though we can trust him. I'm not sure we can 100%. Not sure. We'll find out on the 11th. But regardless, it's must watch TV. We have to watch and see what's going to
100%.
happen.
Yes.
It's must
Yes.
watch TV,
Yeah.
regardless of whether he comes back and he looks good or not. We're all going to be tuned in. I'm going to be there sitting cage side wondering what this man is going to do. It's going to be
I'm so
exciting.
jealous of you, man. When like put his arms behind him and just like heads down. Oh, that's gonna be it. Oh, like I got chills just thinking about it. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm a big McGregor fan, not outside the cage McGregor, but uh up until that Habib fight, like I think that one of the best fights I ever watched was McGregor Eddie Alvarez in Madison Square
Oh,
Garden for everything that fight meant, like the back in New York and McGregor fighting for two belts. That guy looked so good that night, man. There was not a human being on the planet that night that was gonna win against him. There, it's like probably top five, one of my favorite fighters ever, like fights ever to watch. That Eddie Alvarez, he took Eddie Alvarez for like Eddie Alvarez look an amateur. I had Ricardo Almeida on a podcast, and he was like, "Look, that guy, like, you will put your head down just by staring at the guy. He was so intimidating. It was crazy. He was
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Yeah. So I did a video with Rashad Evans
Mm,
ranking Conor McGregor's greatest knockouts. And that was my number one, the Eddie
yeah,
Alvarez fight. He chose Jose Aldo over that one, but I said no, man. The performance, the implications, what that meant. Madison Square Garden first fight in New York City. I was like, yo, him knocking out Eddie Alvarez was just a thing of beauty, man. I mean, we hadn't seen that level of accuracy in striking since Anderson Silva and Chris Lieben. I mean, it was
yes.
just bing, 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 shot after shot. I mean, that so if we I don't know if a human being could ever be that good again.
That's what I
Yeah,
agree.
I don't know if we'll
Especially
ever see.
because
Yeah,
because the sports change so much, it's getting
Yeah,
harder and harder, right? Like they
yeah,
always have that discussion, like, oh, was Anderson Silva gonna be that good? Like if he was fighting now, I was like, you can have that conversation because he was like a different human being at on his time, and Conor was a different one on his time too.
yeah, absolutely. And just that night, what it meant, how he was able to grab the moment and just own that whole moment, own that city, own the whole sport of MMA. It was, I don't know if something like that will ever be done again. But well, I'll say this, you're a Conor McGregor fan and you'll appreciate this. If there's anybody that can do it, Conor can do it.
Yeah,
Because there's not a lot of people who have that level of self belief and
that's right.
that intelligence, yeah, and that level of emotional intelligence and fight intelligence to be able to do what Conor had done. If Conor can grab onto some of that in a week and a half from now, on July 11th against Max Holloway, we might see something great. I just don't know we will.
I don't,
I
yeah,
just have a
I'm
hard,
with you
I just
on
have
that.
a hard time believing
I'm a
we will.
big Conor McGregor fan, but I'm not crazy.
But we want to believe. We want to believe. Like we want to have that hero story because we
Yeah.
know what he meant to MMA and the type of emotion he brought to MMA and what he's done for it. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can see something like that. I'm just very doubtful.
Yeah, me too. I was saying like I was hoping they would bring someone that's on his kind of athletic level right now, like a Nate Diaz, maybe a Masvidal, kind of like a retired guy that's not training a lot. That will bring some
Yeah,
good moment. They put in fucking Max Holloway on him.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
that's a tough climb, man.
Yeah.
Like
Bring back Cerrone.
bring back Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, bring back Tony Ferguson. Where's Jeremy Stevens at? I mean,
No
he was
shit,
still
yeah.
he
Who
was
the
still
fuck is
signed.
that
Huh?
guy?
Why not Jeremy Stevens?
I'll show you who that guy is, motherfucker. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
here now. Let's fight. I would love a fight like that because we could have. I think Conor has a very, very tough mission, but I think he has a one good round on him, and he could he
Yeah,
could bring
yeah,
problems to Max in
yeah,
that
yeah. I
one
thought so
round.
too. Well, because of all the possibilities that they could have thrown at Connor, Max might have been the best of the worst.
Mm.
If you get what I'm saying,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
he's the best because Max is traditionally a featherweight, so
Exactly.
he's he's got shorter arms. He's not a big puncher. He's a more of a volume guy. So he's not.
Yeah.
So there are some because think about it. Like if Connor's fighting at 170, I mean, imagine if they threw Connor in there with Mike Morales or
Oh my
Carlos
God,
Pratt.
Carlos Prates.
Yeah, imagine
I'm
that. Like,
friends with Carlos Prates.
yeah,
They actually offered the fight to Conor, and
he
Prates was like, "It's true, bro. They offered, but I don't think he liked it." I was like, "Of course, like how can you blame the guy? It's like, I wouldn't fucking like it either."
he would have decapitated him. Like any of the top
Crazy.
10, any of the top 10 guys at 170 would have decapitated him. And
Yeah.
then even if he fought guys at 55, like Hoofy would have put his head into the
Oh
third row. So like,
yes.
yeah, so like of all the guys, you grab a featherweight, move him up to 170, who's not a big puncher anyway, who just got out
He doesn't
wrestled. Yeah,
have a knockout power at featherweight, right? Like
yeah,
so,
exactly,
you
exactly.
move up,
Yeah,
he should be able to absorb a bunch of Max
yeah.
punches.
And he just got dominated by Charles Oliveira. So of all the guys, all the good guys, Max is probably the best matchup for him.
I agree. I agree.
So
He's not
I
gonna
see why they
wrestle
chose
his
him.
way into the
Yeah,
win kind of thing, right?
yeah. He's not going to wrestle his way in, and he can absorb some shots, and he might be able to catch him with a big left hand early. There
Hmm.
are a lot of benefits for him fighting Max, but oh man, I just I
Look,
still think Max is going to finish him in like the fourth round.
I don't think we'll get to the fourth round. Like Conor on his prime was already done by the third round, right? Like you watch the
Sure.
Diaz fights, like and he was on his prime, moving up, like technically no weight cut, so it was
Mhm.
supposed to be a easier cardio fight for him. And on Nate Diaz, I agree that the volume was super high, but his cardio was never his strongest point. So I don't see how 5 years of barely training will make that better. But yeah, I'm hoping on that first good round.
Yeah. That first round's gonna be good.
We
That
up
first
for a
round's gonna be
show
good.
for sure. That's the thing. Like I don't want to get people like down for this fight. Like go and fucking watch because it's gonna be a fucking awesome fight. If Conor gets out on the first round, Max will finish him on the second. It's
Yeah, could you imagine if Conor finishes Max in the first round? Like what he's
fucking.
gonna say on the microphone?
So we'll just cancel the Ian Gary fight and put Conor against Islam Makhachev with Khabib on the corner. Ah, man, that's it. We were talking about good problems to have. There you go. Figure that one out.
I think because Conor had talked about he's got 2 fights left. He's doing this one in June, and then he's committed to doing the next one in April of next year. I think that if he beats Max, he's looking at maybe reevaluating the way he lives his life, and then making the move down to 155 to fight Justin Gaethje.
Oh.
I don't think he intends to stay at 170. There's no way. There's no way with a win over Max Holloway, that gives him the confidence to fight those guys at 170. There's no way that happens.
It's a different 170, definitely at this time, right? Like so.
Yeah.
Look, I would love to see that. Can you imagine Conor McGregor and Justin Gaethje? Where are we gonna make that fight? Like a stadium somewhere, like
you do that. I say you do that in Ireland. You do that in Dublin.
Holy
shit. You can do that anywhere. But I mean, Dublin would probably be real nice.
Yes.
But either way, man. I mean, again, good problems to have. Conor's here. He adds an extra problem, an extra good problem to have. So, what a time to be alive.
No shit, right? Let's wait and see for sure. Look, I'm gonna reach out after that fight. Maybe we can catch up again for 10, 15 minutes and just talk. I wanna chat with you and you tell me how you felt being like cage side for that fight.
Absolutely.
And how was it? Because I'll be watching and looking forward for your commentary. Always precise and on point and very useful for us fans watching the fights. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out. We'll talk. We'll chop it up. We'll discuss the happenings of what happened and how it felt, how the arena felt, how the fight week felt, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about. So make sure you reach out. We'll chop it up.
I appreciate. I'll be in Vegas for the August 8th card. It's a fight night. I'm not sure if you're going to be there, but if you're there, we'll catch up too.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be cornering a guy called The Mountain. He's a UFC debut. I'll be there with his coach and.
Please tell me he's a heavyweight.
He is a heavyweight. Yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah, for sure. I'm working that card. So
awesome.
Be sure to reach out. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be at the Apex. So be sure to reach out.
Awesome. We'll do it, man. Hey, Coach, Mr. Dean Thomas, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, man. And let's catch up after the Conor McGregor fight. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Take care. I appreciate you.